Good evening. It is 1 minute to 8, so I am early. Get that in your pipe and smoke it. It's the Inquisition Live, episode something or other. I am your host tonight on the main channel, Penge, aka Casey. Thank you for joining in. If you're going to join in, I'll say if you're going to join in because I've just gone live and nobody is here, which is absolutely fine. But tonight we have a returning guest of first rank fire. I won't give too much away about him because he's our guest, and then that would be spoiling what, you guys will be doing and listening to tonight. So there's no point me telling you. So you might as well just sit tight and wait for the guest to join in. So yes, welcome, willkommen, bienvenue, come on in as it goes. We'll be chatting a bit about all sorts tonight. No real plan. When do we ever have any sort of real plan? The answer is we do not. So we'll just see how we do. Good evening, Sam, Warpgate Studios. Good evening, Lord Virus and Nurgle. And good evening, Kate Tries Warhammer. Thank you for jumping on. Look at this guy. Sprecher Deutsch, ja. Gern Sie fucking off. Yeah. And here is our guest of the evening. So hopefully we can get you in and we can start. Instagram doesn't make weird noises usually. What's that? I am accepting you. So we'll see how we do. Well, I will say this just for everyone, because I don't think Dunk sent a reminder. I will blame Dunk because he's not here and I can blame him. If you have not updated your Instagram, because there was an update today, run that for me quickly. Because, as we know, Instagram is shit. I actually said Guernsey, which is the start of like Guernsey Aus, which is get out. I can't remember what fuck is in German. Luke says hi. Hello, Luke. That's nice. Still can't accept you, Ben. If you're here. Oh, no. He's gone off to update his stuff probably. Cool, that's fine. You'll still have to just put up with me for a little bit as I chat rubbish. To you lot, if you're in the chat, put some stuff in there so I can reply to you, because you probably don't want to hear me ramble about generic shit. How are the brushes? Good. Yeah, they're doing all right. I tell you what, the next time some come in stock, I'll order you some and I'll get them sent over to you, buddy. So we can get you sorted. Right, can we get Ben back in now? Good evening, Daz. Oh, there we go. It says invited. We'll see how we do. Let's face it, anytime I host, things always go wrong, don't they? And with that, it hasn't gone wrong. There he is at the hour. Thank you for joining in. I don't know what I'm looking at, however. Now I'm looking at it. It's beautiful. Good evening, Ben. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you for joining in tonight. Sorry we weren't able to get you on last time. Doug was ill and I was in a departure lounge at an airport, so it would not have been a very good show. So thank you. Agreed. Let me put that further back. There we go. Right. So good evening. Thank you for joining in. As I was saying earlier, it's the Inquisition. It's another Wednesday. It's another episode. Tonight's guest is Ben, aka First Rank Fire Podcast. It's the second time we've had you on, so thank you for coming back on, buddy.
That's all right. No worries. Always happy to come on.
Cool. And I'll tell you what, just in case anyone missed you last time, just to be polite, would you mind giving us a little intro as to who you are, what you do?
Yeah, so let's say I'm Ben, so First Rank Fire. A while ago, I had a podcast, First Rank Fire podcast. It was an interview podcast. So I had some really wicked people on. So people like Mini War Gamer Dave, had a load of the Tabletop Tactics people on. Yeah, loads. There's 30 odd episodes, something like that. I've taken a bit of a break. So you're catching me towards the back end of my break. So I had my second child.
Oh, well
Um,
done. Congratulations.
well done. Is that right? I'm not sure that's the right thing. But
No, I think it is. Are you mad? That should have been the real question. But
yeah. So yeah, that was. I think I stopped 8 months ago, something like that.
yeah. I was looking at your Spotify earlier, and it was about March, April that you did stop. So you're looking to get back started up again, running once more, or?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a spoiler. I'm probably kicking off with the big stuff. So Friday there'll be an announcement on my Instagram
Oh,
as to sort of when things are kicking off again and stuff like that. So there's going to be a few changes. I won't say too much because that will sort of come at the restart of it. What I will say is that it's going to come back slightly different, and it's going to come back on Spotify and on YouTube. Well, not just Spotify. Anywhere you get your standard podcast stuff. So as per it was before. But then it's also coming to YouTube. So primarily going to be YouTube based.
okay, cool.
So if you're not subscribed to the First Run Fire YouTube channel, go ahead. It's in my bio stuff, in my link tree in my bio.
Well, I mean, we usually do the plugs like this later on, but get them in now. It's absolutely fine,
Yeah.
Get them in. So, go on then. Child 2, how have you found everything?
The same and different
Okay.
all at the same time. It's been weird. My first didn't sleep at all. She was probably one of the worst sleepers that I think I've ever spoken to anybody about. She still doesn't sleep through the night. So she's 3.5, still not sleeping through. Um, the second's been sleeping a little bit better.
Cool.
First she slept really, really well, and then she's sleeping a lot better. But she's up a lot more in the day, sort of stuff. So they're like sort of a little bit chalk and cheese like that. The sleep wise, it's somewhat because of that. It's basically no different. Like I went back to work and everyone's like, "Oh, you don't look that tired." And I'm like, "This is just how I am. There is no difference in my tiredness. I'm always just tired."
Yeah.
It's like this whole Hulk thing. It's like I'm always angry.
It's a permanent state of dad almost, isn't it? There's never enough hours in the day, and you're always getting there at some point and wondering how the hell have I made it through that one to go on to the next one. And yeah,
it's definitely been a lot harder in terms of just sort of having any downtime whatsoever. So see, when you've got one, typically you can be like, partner, take baby, I'm just going to go and have some downtime. Whereas obviously when you've got two of them, you've kind of always got one or the other.
Yeah.
So because my second's breastfed, it means that typically I've got the older one, and so we've sort of become like new baby's mum, old child's dad, and so yeah, it's been a little bit time consuming. I think when I had 5 weeks off when new baby was born, something like that. So obviously at that point it's a little bit easier. You sort of got a bit more time. The eldest still went to nursery and things like that. Whereas going back to work, so I was still painting a little bit then. So I still sort of found some time to do hobby and stuff like that. And then I went back to work, and where it got crazy busy, and basically I just couldn't do anything. So my Instagram went dead for a month, 2 months, something like that. Basically, I didn't get any painting done whatsoever. I wasn't really doing any gaming or anything like that. Whereas now I'm kind of catching up with that again. So I start painting again. So obviously talked about started the podcast again. I've played 2 games of 40k, something like that recently. So yeah, getting back to it.
Yeah, it is that sort of struggle, isn't it? I think at sort of any point of just life getting in the way that, you do just hobbies go on the back burner. That's the easy thing to do. And it is just a battle trying to get back into it almost. Because I'm not going to lie, I've struggled in the last couple of months trying to find any time for anything. But, you do get to that sort of point where you can start catching up with yourself and having that little bit of time. So good on you. Because I mean, I was going to say tonight, 2 kids and you've still managed to knock some Skaven and Dark Angels out. So you're doing all right.
Yeah, I mean the Skaven have been a bit of a passion. Obviously with AOS 4 coming out, I didn't play AOS before, but back in the day I was a fantasy player through and through. So yeah, with that box set coming out, I picked it up, and it's a guy on my Discord and who follows me on Instagram, Dave's Hobby Corner. He's got a City of Sigmar army, and he did a similar thing to my Skaven. Sorry, I think that may have just been a dog voice car. Just give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries, mate. So I'll fill this gap for a very quick second. I don't know what to say now. My train of thought's gone. But there you go. This is what happens because we're live. It's live internet. It's live telly. It's all of that malarkey. Anything and everything can happen, and it's great.
Sorry, he's out there, so I'll have to let him in again in a bit. But I can still hear you, so I'm probably going to still talk to you.
No, you're grand, you're grand. You just heard me rambling, so that's fine.
That's fine. So yeah, Dave. So I was saying, Dave's got this Cities of Signal army. It's really, really nice, and he did it in a similar sort of way. So private black, dry brush the colours into it, and then basically using comps. So he uses an army painter. I can't remember what they're called, like the
There you go. Don't play it.
Sorry, I thought it'd be fashionable late, like Casey this week because he's been on. He's never been in time for the last 4 years. So
Don't start. I'm on time when I host.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a similar thing Dave did. So I sort of took that a little bit, and it's a super, super quick way of doing it. So I think I timed it in the end. Each clan rat was taking me 36 minutes to get from primed to fully painted and based.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it was super quick. So I managed to sort of bash those out quite quickly. My 40k Dark Angels took quite a big back seat. So like my Chaos Knights, I've got painted. I could play with those, stuff like that. And then, yeah, probably on Instagram seen recently, I absolutely thrashed out 15 Terminators built in like 2 evenings, something like that, with some slight kit bashing on them, not a huge amount. What else did I build? Yeah, and then I primed. I've got them there, actually. There's like 40 Terminators, Stern Guard, Hell Blasters, stuff like that. And the idea is I'm going to use a similar style. So, like, lovely hobby cupboard. So yeah, that's sort of a green one coming out. So it's the same style, but actually I'm going to put a picture of this on Instagram soon. So again, it's the sort of layered dry brushing and then using contrast over the top. I'm actually sort of really pleased with how quick it is. And from an army point of view, it's a super quick way to bash it out.
I suppose at the moment, like we were saying earlier, with time being precious as it is at the moment, anything that you can do to sort of speed your hobbying up so you're able to get to a standard where you're able to just shove them onto a tabletop is a massive bonus. So 36 minutes of clan rat, and you think Skaven armies have got 40, 50, 60 of them bloody things.
I've got 40 painted so far, another 40 to paint. So, yeah.
80 of them in your case, bloody hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. So, anything that, as long as it still makes it enjoyable, that's the bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that difference. So before I started doing the Skaven, I was trying to paint things to a much sort of higher standard. So thinking about like doing tournament, competition level painting, stuff like that. And it takes forever to paint anything, as you'd expect. So this is more for those sort of units that they're never going to be competition pieces. It's just how can I get them out to a really good something like tabletop standard that I'm happy with, so that they're on the table. So I still aim to sort of paint a few of these models here and there to that better stuff. And so like I've got a Gilliman in the cupboard that I really like to paint up, and Magnus, things like that, to like a good standard.
Yeah, I would say as well, like, if you're paying 80 Skaven, right, in total, and you're spending 36 minutes, let's call it 30 minutes for simple maths from my simple little mind. I mean, that's still 40 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a lot. I mean, obviously, if you get to like a main character or something, as you say, your Gilliman, you're going to spend a wee bit more time in that. But I suppose if you're wanting to get on the table and play, like, quicker is sometimes better.
Yeah, absolutely. They're coming out a really nice standard, actually. When you look at the sort of Skaven that I put up, I've been genuinely pleased with how good they come out. Like the Rat Ogres, they came out so nicely. I was really surprised. Those Rat Ogres I did in 2 evenings, if that. And that allowed for like paints to dry and stuff like that. Like they were super, super quick to get out. I'm really pleased with how they've probably better than some of the painting that I've done where I've tried to not do it as quick.
Yeah.
So it worked out well.
But it's funny, isn't it, how that does work out sometimes, that the ones that you just sort of smash out, you end up happier with than the ones that you sort of sit there stressing about for hours of, because you haven't put that pressure on you, have you? You're just sort of sitting there thinking, right, get this shit done, move on to the fun things. So you can make the horde army building and painting fun. You've just got to get your right way of doing it. So where you have
really
been, where you have been sort of out of it then, and not building, not painting and doing a bit, have you made sure you sort of kept your toe in the water a little bit, sort of kept an eye on what's going on, sort of all of the sort of changes in gameplay, all the new releases and all of that sort of stuff? How have you found everything like that recently?
Yeah, not too, yeah. So obviously took quite a big sort of break out of a lot of painting and stuff like that. But I was still on Instagram, still sort of going through people's posts and sort of still chatting with people. So like my Discord was still live, stuff like that. So still chatting with people on Discord, seeing what they were up to. And yeah, I kind of did it that way. I still listen to a lot of audiobooks as well. So I still keeping it with that way. It's impossible when you're on Instagram to not see all the new releases and things like that. And it was hard not to get tempted back in and just splash money, but yeah, I think I got lucky in the fact that what got released wasn't necessarily what I sort of enjoyed all that much, which to be honest may have added to the sort of burnout a little bit. So, well, there's nothing there that I'm really that fussed about. Not that I've not liked them, but stuff like the Blood Angel box and stuff like that, which obviously I was back for, but I thought it's a beautiful box, everything like that, but they're not an army that I want to pick up right now. They're not an army that I'm particularly interested in, so I was like, fine, carry on. Same with like the Imperial Agents. I was like, yeah, they look great, but not for me. So cool, I'll just carry on.
I think that would be the same with the combat patrol as well. Like Warhammer Pod picked up in it yesterday. Or one of the most recent podcasts, they were talking about like there's 7 armies and they're only releasing 2 at a time. So if you're looking to collect, for example, Chaos.
Guard, because I think Guard are not coming out till later on in the thing, aren't they?
Chaos and Guard, you've got a lot of waiting to do before you do that, which I suppose is good, but if you're really waiting for that release to come out, you will want yours to be first, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing,
quite lucky with.
So go on, buddy.
Yeah, so I got quite lucky with obviously with Dark Angels. Them coming out so early in the sort of new edition was quite nice. As soon as I picked up like the Lion and the new box and everything like that, so I've got tons to work with. Which is effectively what all those Terminators are. Was that new Dark Angels box? So I was very pleased with that. But yeah, I mean, Chaos Knights, my other one. So I played them a few times. And I'm like, yeah, this is getting a little bit tedious because it's obviously still just an index. So they've got the one. Whatever they're called, like formation or whatever they're called. So you're like, and it's not a very great one. So yeah, I think it does. I think it's turned quite a lot of people off in 10th. I think.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at buying a Night Abomination for my Death Guard just so they can stomp on people. And I actually seen one on I seen one in the buy and sell Facebook in Ireland, and I tried to be like typical Scottish. Here, mate, what's your best offer? And then we were like haggling back and forth for about 2 hours, and then I went, "Look, mate, somebody just offered me what I wanted. I love your style, but no, this isn't happening." And I was like, "No, all right, no worries."
You got to have a chance. You got a chance for arm, haven't you? You know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have married my wife if I wasn't a chancing bastard. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm well punching. I would say she's well punching. She would be punching me if I said that, but I am well punching. Do you know what I mean? But I'm looking at getting a Chaos Abomination. Just it is a beautiful looking model, and I think just to have that on the board as a Death Guard player is.
I'll be honest. Model wise, it's not that great in terms of its abilities and the game stuff like that. It's probably my worst Knight, but it's the one I always have to have on the table because it's such a stunning Knight.
So I think nobody would expect like a random player just to turn up with one lone Knight instead of a Primarch. Do you know what I mean? Like bring that with your Primarch and you're pretty much bamboozling people. Mind you, I'm going to say this. My mate Barry went and played a 1,000 point game about 3 weeks ago, and he's not new in hobby, but he's just new to starting to play. And the guy's like, "I'm going to bring." He brought a World Eaters or World
World Eaters.
He brought World Eaters with him, and he's like, "Oh, that's brilliant! Can't wait." So the guy turned up, and he turned up with my mate turned up with his 1,000 point Dark Angels army, and this guy turned up with a 1,000 point army with Andron as part of one of his 1,000 points, and the game was like over in pretty much turn two. He's like, why did you not tell me? He's like, oh well, I don't know. Is that? And I was like, I'd have been pure raging. I think he took him up there at the same time and had to bring him back. I'd have told him to fuck off and walk back to fucking Letterkenny. I would have been raging.
As a night player, I've got to do that all the time. Like it's one of those things that no matter who I play, they're like, oh, do you want a game? Yeah, fine. Just to make you aware, I'm bringing a nice list. Right? It just, if somebody turns up with no anti-armor against the night list, it's like the game may as well not start. They're ridiculous. It's like toughness 17, 18, 20 odd wounds. They're so impossible to kill. Yeah, the saves aren't fantastic, but at the same time, like you're rolling like 6, 5, 6s to wound with everything. It's a hard sell to fight against knights.
Yeah. So obviously I missed the first 10 minutes, man. Like, how you been keeping? Quick recap, if you don't mind. Like, how you been keeping? How's the Barbie getting on?
Yeah, not too bad. Me and Casey talked to her a little bit about how it is being a dad of two, which is it's great. It is great. It's tough, but it's really rewarding. I'm doing all right.
I think someone summed it up to me before I had my first kid. It was like, it's the best and simultaneously the worst thing you will ever do. So you kind of like, great, and then you decide, actually, let's have another one. Let's do it all again. So
yeah, I've definitely said no more than two. That's for sure. One in each hand. Like you get so many little moments of joy as they start to do stuff. So like the little ones start to like babble a lot more, and like the first thing she started babbling was like da 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 da, and you're like, okay, that's really cool. Like it's those things that you remember. And even with the eldest, like she's now getting on to the point where she's nearly at school and things like that, and she'll do stuff. Like she did some colouring today, and she'd like picked out the wings of a bat. She was doing stuff for Halloween. She'd like picked out wings for the bat and coloured in different colours and stuff like that. I'm like, I've not seen you do that before. That's really cool.
I think when I first started having getting involved with kids, not involved with kids, that's a bit racist. But when I first started seeing my wife, she had kids with a previous relationship, and the kids were 4, 5, and 10, and it harks back to that Yoda meme. It's like, I now understand what parenthood is. It's like when Yoda just dies because Luke Skywalker's asking him so many questions. It's like, I could just die sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Why is this guy blue? Well, you see, the sun reflects off the ocean, which reflects back off. But why is it blue? Why blue? It's like, because it is. But why? It's the but why? Because
definitely that stage.
The thing is, though, when they get a bit older and they start taking an interest in the things that you take an interest in, like I put it up a little while ago. I'm not going to lie, the Combat Patrol magazine, they've got me, but I'm being selective with what I buy. But I've got the limited edition one, give one to my lad. And I'll tell you what, he paints atrociously, but his eye for colour is amazing. Like, he picks the boldest things you can get a hand of, and it's like, you know what? Go on, go for it. You do you. And then there's little things like you can see his mind working, the gears turning. He's holding the brush 1 minute like this, and I say, hold it like a pen, and like stuff like that. Just seeing the everything sort of slot in. And even I took him to play mini golf on Sunday, and he plays it like he's playing ice hockey, but he's decent at it. So it's like I can just let him go and have fun and just be there for these random moments. So it's good as they get older. It is more and more fun. But I do also miss when he was tiny, and I could just shove him in a little recliner thing and just let him bounce a bit for a couple of hours, and I could either have a little bit of kip or watch a telly. But
And tell me this, Ben, are we going to be getting season 2 anytime soon of First Rank Fire?
Casey, you already got a spoiler for this. So Friday on my Instagram, I'll be dropping some sort of a new date for when the new stuff's coming out. So it's going to be slightly different. I won't talk about it here because it'll sort of come out soon. But yeah, Friday on my Instagram, it'll give you a date and a little teaser of what's to come. Yeah, I guess the other thing is, it's like I said to Casey, it's going to be predominantly YouTube based, so it's probably more made for YouTube than it is for other stuff. But it'll still be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, yada yada yada. It'll still be on all those. So yeah, it is coming back. It's coming back very soon.
And have you missed it?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, it's. I haven't necessarily missed the editing, which is why the sort of podcast's changing a little bit, because it eases it out on me a little bit. The burden should reduce a little bit the way that I'm going to do it. But yeah, I just miss talking about Warhammer, and just because I was thinking I was like having almost a weekly session where I'd sit down with somebody for like an hour, 2 hours, talk about all things Warhammer, like reminisce on what people go into Warhammer for and stuff like that. It gave me a real kick, and it's a lot of enjoyment.
I mean, I'm maybe be speaking out of tongue here a wee bit, but I think when me and Casey were thinking about having you back on, I think for me it did anyway, getting you back on was a kind of idea of, well, why don't we fucking do a kind of throwback of getting former guests on, and that's why we've got November, we've got some really exciting guests coming on, and Green Mank. I came
up with a name for it, Dunk. I was thinking of how they go mental online and No Not November, so I'm calling it No New People November.
No new people.
No new. Listen to me, fucking Scottish people, man. Jesus.
No, I think it's like when we kind of float about. Because not that we're running out of guests, because I could have new people on all the time, but we want to reach back to people that we've had on as well and see how they're doing in a catch up. So we'll get kind of some quite exciting guests coming back on as well in November. And I think when you agreed to come on at the start of the month was the kind of kickstart for the November idea. Do you know what I mean? So man, thanks for coming on, and I apologise. Well, our old guests were excellent, apart from Green Man Heat, but we're already give him a second chance.
Yeah. Stop mugging him off.
Tiz back on. Yeah, if we get Tiz back on, that'd be great.
But it was great to see you coming back on, and that's great to hear that you're doing your podcast, because like I did listen to all yours in Spotify. We can find them on Spotify, people, and listen when you're working. He does a really good. He has some amazing guests on as well.
Yeah, it's not much of me talking. You don't have to hear much of me. You just get to hear a good guests. That's for sure.
So there's one thing I definitely wanted to chat about both of you with tonight, and I think it's something that's interesting to come up in the week. Obviously, Ben, you're a bit of an old hand, so you'll have seen how things have come and gone over the years, and it's something I think I'm quite excited about, but I don't know if it's just me. Oh, bye, Dunk.
You want to talk to him? He's like, no.
Nah, he's like, fuck this guy, I've been on there. So the recent new Kill Team box was released, and what stood out for me more than the fact that they're sort of giving out these models again from the Space Marine Heroes box, it was the MDF terrain. That for me feels like a real sort of tear away from the business model the Games Workshop have had for donkeys, where they would produce plastic terrain, all sorts of different types of stuff for you to stick on your board. So when they came out with like, here's these couple of little bits of wood that you can just slot together, part of me is thinking, that's amazing. But then part of me is also thinking, is this now going to be the future for them? Are they just going to start scaling back on all the plastic stuff and everything's now going to be MDF? What are your boys' thoughts on it?
Personally, I quite like it. It's a really nice way of getting thematic boards super quickly. And so it feels like for something like a starter kill team or like a low-level starter set, let's be honest, 95% of us, when we go play at a store or with mates or something like that, most of us will use MDF terrain. It's pretty rare that we're all using this plastic terrain, because most people cannot be asked to get it out, build it up, paint it up, to just chuck it on a board. So I'm really supportive of it. Don't get me wrong, I really hope they keep on with their plastic terrain. It's really nice. Like my night bases, they've all got the plastic terrain on them, so like city ruins and stuff like that. So I hope they keep on with it. So something like the bigger sets that they do, I think it will still be good. But I mean, yeah, like I say, we all play with MDF terrain all the time. It's nothing different. So I don't know why people have kicked off quite as much as some people have. But I think personally, it's a great idea.
Yeah. Oh, what are you
I
thinking?
think if people aren't kicking off about Games Workshop, then Games Workshop aren't doing something right. For me, I'm actually a bit annoyed because I said to my wife that after I randomly bought this kill team, the bloody kill team on Sunday, that I wasn't going to buy anything else. And then fucking 2 days later, they released this new kill team with the Heroes of Death Guard, which sold out within about 30 seconds last year. And I've managed to scalp two, which cost me an arm and a leg. But yeah, the MDF terrain is definitely a good idea, but it's also saving. It's also murdering some trees that maybe deserve to be murdered as well, and saving. And it's going to stop maybe killing some seals with some plastic. But I think I just step forward. I think, as everybody says, for the sake of
That's going to be you've sort of hit the nail on the head there. That's going to be the argument, isn't it? That, oh yeah, great, you're not producing plastic anymore, but now you're chopping down trees. I don't think there's a happy medium ever, is there?
oh, but
Not in
but I
Warhammer.
think. But I think my thing is like Tiz has put in some really amazing points where it's like it's maybe easy for storage and portability and great for schools and clubs and all that. I mean, if it takes you 5 minutes to set up 20 bits of terrain instead of like painstakingly painting and like spending hours, I mean, maybe Ben's maybe narrowed it down to like 2 minutes a terrain piece to paint and build because he's a whiz kid. You know what I mean?
What you got there, mate?
So this is a set of terrain that I got on Kickstarter, and they've done loads. But basically, it's cardboard terrain.
Okay.
And the whole idea of it is basically just like little cubes. You can turn them into like, you can probably see. And literally, you can throw it together in like 2 minutes, the whole board together in like less than 10 minutes.
That's great.
Yeah, because you don't want to be fucking fannying about for half an hour getting terrain pieces built and set up. I mean, but you want to get your game and get your dice on and get back home as soon as possible. What's part of the fun into it is getting the game underway and not tediously setting up game boards. Do you know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think as well, storage is a massive. It's going to be massive for storage, right? Because we
Yeah.
need. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you saw that box. That's probably, I mean, it's smaller than the Skaven type box, and that's got enough to do whatever the table size is for like 1,000 points, something like that. So I bought it so I could chuck something up. So I've got a map, and I've got those bits, and there's enough terrain in that to do a thousand point game pretty easily. And like I say, it's smaller than the Skaven type box. It just sits there and super small. It's not actually that heavy. And
It
yes,
actually,
the same thing.
it kind of looked like a bit of the old school second edition Necromunda terrain with some of the the towers and bits like that. Because that's the other thing people forget is second edition, third edition games back in the day. Nothing was plastic. I mean, even the dreadnoughts were cardboard, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So it's people don't. I don't know whether it's a mix of newer people coming in or some of the older memories going sort of cloudy over the years. But I'm all for this sort of stuff. It's a bit more sustainable. It's a bit easier to store, and it's just a bit more user friendly. So it's a big deal.
I mean, as the old saying goes, plastic doesn't grow on trees, but MDF terrain kits do.
You get a lot of MDF out of one tree, you know. So it's all good, right?
Maybe Games Workshop have bought some forests and they just want to.
Sure.
What part of the Amazon?
We want to build a
No.
new headquarters, but we've got all these trees, and somebody's went, you know what? MDF it. Just start selling it back. It'll make its own money and go. And that, you know what, mate? You are getting promoted. You are now the face of the Warhammer TV MDF club. And that's it. Bish bash bosh. And have you been working on anything else that's been non-Games Workshop related? Any other? Or is it just? Are you still just predominantly Games Workshop? Is there any other models that you're working on, or you seen that you maybe want to work on?
Oh, there's tons out there that I would like to work on. There's been nothing. Looking around, yeah, there's nothing that's not Games Workshop based in my models at the moment. So I went to MPO over summer, and then painting open the Court of Paint one, and that was amazing, absolutely amazing. And it really sort of opened up because it's an open painting competition. Actually, the large majority of the models there weren't Games Workshop. There was tons of busts and like scenic bits and things like that. I loved it, really loved it. And Tiz is on, and she is on my Discord and on her Instagram. She is like a master bust painter, and I love it. I think they look amazing. Once I've got this, so this is like my office / hobby room that I'm in at the minute. My idea is to get this little alcove here, that alcove there. Hopefully, get it all shelved, and then I'll have a space to actually like put things up for display. Because right now they go into this cupboard and don't really get displayed all that much. So once I've got some shelving stuff like that, I think I'm going to definitely get more busts, more like scenic pieces, like non-gaming pieces. I think do a lot more of that.
And see, a question that I don't think we asked you this when you were first on. What paints and brushes do you predominantly use? Is there any certain brands that you prefer using, or are you still old school Citadel and Citadel brushes?
So I don't use Citadel brushes at all anymore. My typical workhorse brushes are the Warbay ones. So the guys over at Warbay sent me over a set of brushes. They're like £12 beginner set of brushes, and they're perfect for like being a workhorse type stuff. I've absolutely battered them. For my more intimate stuff, I've got some Artisopus brushes. So I've got both their dry brushes and their standard brushes, both absolutely amazing. I tend to leave those out for specific details. The dry brushes are taking a battering with this sort of dry brush scheme. Paint-wise, majority of my paints have been using a lot more contrast recently than I probably have done before, as a bit of an added tool. I could say that's my scaven almost entirely. So all the fur, all the cloth, all the leathers, that's all contrast, sort of contrast. All of my sort of primers and quite a lot of my brighter colours of Vallejo. I found that Vallejo do some really nice bright colours. What else have I got? I've got all sorts really. Depends on what I fancy. I'm using a bit of AK stuff at the minute. And then I won a set of the 2 thin coats from Lady Kane's stuff.
Okay.
They are stunning paints, so smooth, so really beautiful to use.
In case, Ben, what would you say your favourite colour and fruit is?
Colour and fruit. My colour switches over a little bit. So obviously being dark angels, I do love a bit of green. But I do have quite a passion for like quite a dark burgundy red.
And what's the only fruit that's actually a colour?
I assume the answer is orange.
Yeah, it's not a trick question. Don't worry, we're not that smart.
Okay, that's fine. I was like, there's something strange going on here.
No.
Favourite fruit?
Yeah, so the only fruit that is a colour is orange, would you say?
Yeah.
Which brings us on nicely to our sponsors, Orange Brushes. And as you can see, they have wee colour codes at the top, but if you're colourblind, you're pretty fucked, I believe.
Grey brushes, still grey brushes.
I mean, just look at your brush tip, surely. That will tell you.
How big is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Look at the tip.
The tip. Judge it by the size of the tip.
But if you're looking for new brushes, folks, follow our sponsors, Orange Brushes. Actually, I think they're actually sold out on their 3 brush set just now.
The red one's sold out.
Yeah. And if you do buy any brushes, use the words Inquisition in capital letters, get 10% off. And free delivery if you're in the UK. Yeah, there's the plug.
They look super cheap as well. It's like 21 quid for the set.
Yeah, man, and that's way pretty good, man. Like I'm using them on my Necrons just now. I think I've painted. Where is he? I've been painting my Necrons, my Lynch guard. Oh.
Yeah, beautiful.
I've been using these brushes on them for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and they like. I never understood. See, when I first started painting, right, when people say, "Oh man, it holds the colour really well and it keeps such a fine tip," I never understood what people were talking about, and I still actually don't. But they actually do hold quite a bit of colour.
The problem is when we cheapo Citadel brushes, you don't care, so you smash them out, and you're not worried about what the tips look like, and then they start hooking and stuff, and you're like, "Oh, that's fucked." Yeah. But then when you understand the science of it, very fine.
This is a really crappy one. you won't be able to see it, but that's got like a massive hook right at the tip, which is really not what you want.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
And I think as well, like I was a cheeky bastard to them because I reached out to them initially and went, "Where do you use ship from?" Because I was actually looking at buying a set, and they went, "Oh, we ship from the UK. How's that?" And I was like, "Well, I'm a trans bastard. I run a podcast. Do you want to sponsor us?" And we'll mention in every single podcast we do, we weird segues in, and we pretty much kept her up our end of the bargain. And they were brand new setters out brushes, and I think, like they sent brushes all over as well. And like, from the
Weirdly,
feedback
they
we
said
were given,
the weirdest thing is you reached out to someone and they said yes. You know, when you're doing podcasts and stuff, as you know, Ben, like the knockbacks and the lack of replies you get from people, you just sort of, sometimes you just give up hope. So for a company, just on the off chance, you know, you like I was saying earlier, you chance your arm, you don't know, for them to reply and be like, yeah, all right, like, oh, yeah, okay, didn't expect that to work.
I've had one company reach out to me, and that was Gambit Gaming. They made absolutely amazing. They sent me my Dark Angels t-shirt, amazing quality. I've since gone back and bought stuff, but yeah, like you just get knocked back so much. So yeah, they seem really nice. Since you got them, I started following and stuff like that, and like they seem like really nice.
we're actually looking forward to having them on. I think they're on at the end of the month as well, so we're actually looking forward to having them on and speaking to them.
Glad you said that because I couldn't remember who was on at the end of the month. So thank you.
Yeah, it's them.
Cool.
I'm really looking forward to having them on. Also, I just give a shout out as well because I said I would to Serious Business in Sligo. They're doing a cheeky wee raffle in December. £5 a ticket, and you win lots of nice prizes. And it's just a wee. I was in Leitrim. It was my daughter's birthday, her 30th birthday on Monday, and we were away for the weekend. And I was doom scrolling, and I was like, I wonder if there's a paint shop nearby, because you know when you're away, you want to maybe go and see what you can spend money on. And I found that wee shop and went to Sligo then, and the guy was absolutely fantastic. And I've joined their Discord and all that. So if you want to give them a follow, folks, help them grow a wee bit. And if you want to ring in and phone up, get a raffle ticket, I'll keep your prize if you win it. That would be great.
I think that's part of the fun as like adults now. When we're going away on family trips and stuff, you always got to have a sly little look to see what's about in the area, and go pay someone a visit.
I do on work trips. I have to go quite fairly often on work trips. Well, if I'm going to have to go and stay overnight somewhere, well, I may as well use that time to go and look around hobby shops, stuff like that. Do it all the time.
I said to the wife, I says, I fancy getting into Sligo on Sunday, and she's like, is there a Warhammer shop? I says, no, Geraldine, there's only Warhammer shops in Cork, Derry, or Londonderry, depending on your persuasion, Belfast, and Dublin. I says, there's no Warhammer shops in Leitrim. She went, is there a hobby shop? And I was like, well, ulterior motive. I only went in to have a look and fucking came out with the bloody set, pure raging with myself. And I was like, I promise.
Sure you will. Yeah.
I bought a rhino 3 weeks ago as well, so my Death Guard can move a bit quicker about the board. And I've still to build that. I've got so much. But is there anything coming out that you're looking forward to getting? Is there any? Obviously, the new Kill Team set's coming out with the MDF and that. But is there anything you're looking forward to in the future that's coming out?
Good question. I don't think there's been anything in particular. I think most of the stuff that I was kind of interested in is kind of been and gone. Obviously, there was all the Skaven stuff that I was really interested in. I've not bought any of that yet, thank goodness. But very interested in a lot of that. A lot of the Dark stuff's kind of there. I'm really hoping that they bring out some more fast attack stuff to put into my improvement when that's what I really want them to do next. Just to really lean into like the Overrider stuff. I think that'd be really nice. But I don't know who that'd come with. The Emperor's Children stuff on it, I haven't gone mad about. I hate Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
So
nobody wants the Jimmy Savile Brigade as part of their army. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know that people go mad for them, and I hate the whole aesthetic of it. And Slanesh as a god. Okay, I'm going to get so much hate for this. Slanesh as a god could go, and I wouldn't be bothered at all. don't really care about the demons. I don't care for Emperor's Children. If Emperor's Children were more like they are in like Heresy, I'd be way more into that. But the way they are now, I just don't care. Just take them away.
I think if you had Slanesh kind of as Hellraiser, like heavy D S&M, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think we'd be up for that. But yeah, I kind of like the Emperor's Children is a weird faction. Like, I love the Noise Marine. I like the look of the cacophony of sound, and I wouldn't mind a nice Lucius, the Eternal model. But really, there's nothing really like reading the books. Either one's an idiot. I mean, there's not really much that attracts you apart from maybe you like a good backstabber, unless you're Julius Caesar. We like to see somebody getting backstabbed. You know what I mean? And I think Lucius is probably one of the better underrated characters. He's not really given much love, like for a guy that was always kind of in the shadow of under somebody else's shadow and never really took that time to shine. And then when he took it, he took it. You know what I mean? And I do like.
I don't like the story they've gone with Lucius. Like I think they could have kept him as this insanely OP swordsman that nobody can beat, but they've just made him like, oh, he's just unkillable. So the moment something like that happens in a story, I'm just like, well, I've got no investment in this character. That's all. So I saw what they die. They just come back.
I get what you're saying there, because I think was it one of the times it died, and I do like the thought of, oh, if you kill him and you take pride that you've killed him, then he becomes you. But I think there was like a story where he get killed with a gun, and some guy who made the gun had pride of like some guns that he made, and then it turned out that was like a cheat code, the Konami code for Lucius to come back.
Somewhere down the line, someone down the line, somewhere is over proud, and they've milked it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it should really be for Lucius the 3-second rule we lived as children that we don't let our children live by now. Do you know what I mean? 3-second rule. If it's on the ground and you manage to pick it back up before it hits the back of your head, then it's good to eat, regardless of what it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you go with Fabius Bile, I've got a lot of time for Fabius Bile. The fact that he's a Chaos follower that doesn't believe that the Chaos Gods exist is just incredible. I love that. Because the rest of the Emperor's Children can do one a little bit.
Yeah, I forgot about Fabius. He's basically the Doc of fucking. If Doc had a laboratory in the 40k from Back to the Future, that is Fabius Bile, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
What other legions though would you like to see given a wee bit more love to?
Good question. Part of me loves the White Scars.
Sorry?
Part of me loves, from a loyalist point of view, part of me loves the White Scars. I think I love the idea of like hit and run tactics and things like that. And I think Jagatai Khan is such an incredible character in the Heresy books.
Yeah.
Such an incredible character. If they bring him back, I'd read his books over and over again. He's just so open and honest about things. So yeah, White Scars for me.
What about
love
you,
their tactics?
Casey?
So I mean, my stance on this is always the same. The one legion that deserves more love is the Thousand Sons. But we've had a lot of love recently, seeing as we've been in Space Marine 2, and everyone's enjoying ripping Rubricate head off left, right, and centre. And like I did the other day, I kicked the chicken thing into a train, and I just pissed myself laughing for like 20 minutes. I had to stop playing. I was gone. But yeah, we've got a little bit of love. Maybe a few more. I'd say not even lore-wise. I'd just say a few more units. But there's only so much you can do with bloody sarcophaguses, I suppose. So
the stuff they do like the Death God, like the different Terminator classes and things like that. I feel like they could do a lot more around that and bring out a lot more nice sorcerers and things like that. It's almost like a mirror to the Grey Knights, I guess. I feel like they could do a lot more there with them.
Yeah.
I mean, Magnus did nothing wrong, right? He did something wrong, and that was doing nothing.
Don't get me on this. I'm not biting.
He did
a bite though.
So many things wrong. He's as bad as his dad. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, they've all got daddy issues. Do you know what I mean? Like, they all definitely have daddy issues. Maybe not Alfarius. He's got creepy issues. But yeah, like it's just like we're hoping to get John French on. I've messaged him, I've emailed him, and I emailed. He says when I asked Games Workshop if he could get permission, and then I back out to him, and he says he forgot, but he's going to reach out to him again, which is really great because, as well know, getting people on podcasts, especially people that are known, is hard work. So I'd like to pick his brain. I'm actually listening to the first book of the Siege of Terror, which is where I kind of fell in love with the White Scars because they are so well written in the Siege of Terror books.
Yeah, they're bosses in Siege of Terror. They just dominate so hard.
And just to see,
but they're like Jagasai as well, just absolutely slaps Mortarion over and over again. For me, that's just a fun. Mortarion gets a bit mardy, and Jagasai just backhands him to the ground over and over again. Doesn't matter how powerful Mortarion gets, Jagasai will always beat him.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Jules of Pulp Fiction.
It's even his one-liners, though. It's even his little one-liners he comes up with. Like, he's that well written. They've looked at it and gone, okay, so he's just a bloke who likes to ride around on motorbikes, and let's just make him snarky. So whenever anyone comes up with something, he can just put them in a place with a sentence, and you're like, oof.
Yeah, I mean, his view on the whole heresy thing is probably one of the best ones for me. He's just like, he knows that the Emperor's not that great. He knows that the Imperium isn't that great, but he also knows that it's the better of the options. And so it's just like, fuck it, I'll just throw my lot in with this one. I'll see how he goes. And now he's kind of gone out. It's like, fuck, I'm just going to go right off into the webway and just try and hunt down Dark Edge instead. What a boss.
Turns up, wreck shit, rides off. No explanation given. There you go.
Yeah.
And see when you're doing your podcast, is there anybody you would like to get on that you've not had on yet?
Ooh, so many people. I mean, Lawrence from TT would be a really, really nice one because he just doesn't appear. He's not on social media whatsoever. So to get more of a black history of Lawrence and sort of his drivers would be Spider, I guess. So would be really, really cool. I'd love to get him on. I'd really love to get Matt on from Mini Wargaming. I've spoken to Dave and I've seen the insane energy that he's got, and I would really like to see the sort of yin to his yang, because Matt must have the patience of a saint to be able to put up with Dave as much as he has done. I love Dave to bits, but oh my god, I don't think I could deal with him all day, every day. I think I'd be exhausted. He doesn't stop ever. He's such a happy, nice guy, and I just don't think I could be happy for that long. So yeah, Matt and Lawrence, I think would be definitely two up there. And there's tons of people. Just go through my sort of like follows on Instagram. There's almost everybody on there I'd love to get on. So many people. Yeah. Really writing the list. So it's getting there.
That's awesome, man. And so I'm just going off topic a wee bit of more the real chat now. So when you're having a wee munch, what would be your crisp of choice these days?
I don't think we asked you this sort of stuff last time, did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, but we might update these crisp of choice, because I've changed my crisp of choice recently. So
you change your crisp of choice every 5 minutes, don't you, man? Come on.
That's true.
Whatever's in front of him, just like, that's my crisp of choice. I mean, I've had a real thing for like Nick-Nack. Is it Nick-Nack? I've had a real thing for them, or like the What's It version.
Oh, the What's It Crunchies?
Yeah. I've had a real thing for them, and then I had a bucket of like the salt and vinegar squares today, and I love those so much. They're so classic, and they like set fire to your tongue. There's that much salt and vinegar on them.
So I came up with a new question right the other day here, right? And I tested it with some people in work. Now you can't use the default answer, which would be T-Rex, right? Because that's just a cop-out answer, right? So if you could eat any dinosaur from any Cretaceous or Jurassic period, right? What would be your dinosaur steak that you would eat? And you cannot use the word T-Rex because that's just a cop-out.
I wouldn't go for a T-Rex. I feel like they'd be too lean anyway. What would I go for? You could go for something like a Triceratops or a Stegosaurus, the ones with the long necks.
Stegosaurus steak would be my choice. I just get those fuckers to fuck. Stegosaurus steak.
I feel like they'd be fairly similar to cows. Do you know what iguanodon would be a
Ooh.
fairly good one for me? That would be fairly akin to like venison, and I love me a bit of venison.
You
Yeah,
know
maybe an iguanodon.
what? I don't know what it is, right? And on this question, here's my answer. What I would eat, whatever it is that Fred Flintstone had at the end of the Flintstones, when they bring it out and they stick it on the side of the car and the car tips over, because that thing was massive. Whatever that is,
Yeah,
I'm eating that.
yeah. I reckon that's got to be like a triceratops or something like that.
Oh,
Big,
Spinosaurus.
big.
Well, watch Captain Gregor says Spinosaurus meat with a fish undertone. Mm.
I'm not a fish lover, so I wouldn't go down that route. I don't like fish. Yeah,
Yeah, for me it'd be
like venison.
Stegosaurus. Or see in Jurassic Park 2, the wee tiny ones that multi your man in the river.
Oh no, they'd be like whitebait sort of dinosaur. You just pick one up, eat it, throw it away, and you're done. You know, like, you
Yeah,
don't
I
even
mean,
got
you
to think
just
about
like they'd be like wings. You know what I mean? Like they'd be kind of the similar
Mm.
to wings, just a couple of them in a bucket.
Duck is my favourite meat. Bit of duck. Yeah, so something akin to that. Yeah,
I
maybe.
do like duck now, and I did the Royal Guard, and we had a pheasant. Oh my god, that was so good.
Oh yeah.
I've never had. Actually, no, I have had pheasant. I remember having pheasant because I spat out a shotgun pellet. I bit
Yeah, that's
into it.
happened.
I bit into it. I was like, "What the?" I think that thinking it was a bone. Spat it on my plate. I was like, "Oh, it's a bit of shotgun pellet. Sweet." So yeah,
Yeah, pheasant's nice. And I did have another question, and I put it in a chat. I put it in a chat yesterday, and it kind of, oh, what was it? I can't remember now. I'm trying out all these new questions for people because we want to mix it up. But yeah, the dinosaur question was like, what dinosaur would you eat? You can't say T-Rex. I thought that was a good one.
I didn't expect
okay,
you
here's
to
one.
eat.
I'll
I
follow
thought
it.
what was going to be your favourite dinosaur, rather than what was the dinosaur you'd eat. That's the route I
That's
thought you were going.
thought-provoking. It's thought-provoking. What dinosaur would you eat? But the follow-on to that is, what Power Ranger would you rather be?
Oh,
I mean, the Dark Angel in me would say the Green Ranger. As a kid, it was either the Black Ranger or the White Ranger. It always had to be one of those two because they were always like the OP leadery type. Ignoring Red, because yeah, Red was always the leader until White and Black came around. But yeah, nowadays it'd be like Green or Blue probably. Although I
see,
feel like I'd look good as the Pink Ranger personally.
yeah, like I would probably want to be one of these guppies, just to because like they never die. They get their asses kicked and then they like. Do you know what I mean?
It's always the explosion. They grow. There's explosions. They shrink. They get sent off into the space cube like Superman 2, and then they come back. Rinse, repeat. It was a glorious format. Don't knock it.
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure there was one episode where the bad guys talked about how long it takes the Power Rangers to turn to the Power Rangers, don't they? Because they're there like, do we just wait for this to happen?
what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or bad guy would
Yeah,
you be?
bad guy. Oh, total bad guy. That's a good one.
So I am an engineer. So is it Donatello who's the engineering one? No,
Yeah.
it's not Donatello, is it?
Yeah, it's Donatello. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife's been
So yeah,
my wife's been crocheting Ninja Turtles.
oh, nice. That's really good. Really good quality. So yeah, being an engineer, being that sort of mind, I have to go down that route. So I also probably a somewhat unknown fact about me is the fact that I was martial arts as a kid for probably about 15 years. I was a second dan black belt, and one of the things I loved doing was just training with Joe Staffs, so short staffs.
Now
A lot of stuff with them.
you've got me now because I got to first Dan black belt.
Woo,
What's
look at me, I got his first. You should have a karate off.
I mean, all right, just because you might have actually killed someone and our fists were registered as lethal weapons, yeah, you know what?
So
But
it was called Jiu-Jitsu, so it was a mix of jiu-jitsu and karate. It was like a street self-defense stuff.
oh, cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was as a kid. Had I been a kid now, they probably would diagnose me with ADHD almost certainly. I couldn't sit still. I was a really sort of angry kid. Not like aggressive angry.
Yeah.
I just get really annoyed at things really quickly. And so yeah, sort of got when I started doing martial arts, sort of got a lot of that discipline and got rid of a lot of that. And yeah, I did it for like I said about 15 years. Yeah, got as far as second and white belt. It's good fun, really good fun. Still remember most of it now.
It's funny though you say that, because that was sort of my avenue into it. Like I was, again, same thing, probably would be diagnosed ADHD or something now. But back in the day, it was just like you had loads of energy. You'd sit there playing computer games till God knows what time in the morning, would never do homework and stuff. And then I always remember it was this mad coincidence. My sister got mugged. And then like a week later, some bloke knocked on our door and was like, "Oh, do you want to fancy joining a karate club, doing door-to-door selling of it?" My sister fancied him, so instantly wanted to go. I got dragged along, and I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, you're ruining my N64 time here." And then, 13, 14 years later, I was an instructor, and she pissed off after a week. So, but it is funny how that sort of stuff works out. And you're right, it channels like your thought processes. It gives you the focus that you probably didn't have in the back there.
Yeah.
Which again also helps out in the long run with this stuff. So it all, and you know,
I'm sorry to interject here, right? That sounds well dodgy. My sister get mugged, and then a guy just happens to come round to offer karate lessons. Like, come on, there is a
He's just going around mugging people systematically.
I mean,
the level of, I'll be honest, the level of coincidence wasn't lost on me, but it was, weirdly enough, it was a kid from my school that mugged my sister, and she ID'd him, and I was like, "Oh God, here we go." So then the next week in school, I get like dragged all over the place. "Why is your sister grassing him up?" It's like, grassing him up, she fucking got mugged by him. But inner city London schools, you know, they don't think of that bit. Yeah, but yeah, that's just my little strange martial arts story.
you know what I was actually watching today when I was working was the Game of Death. How far up the levels do you think you could get? I think I could probably take the first. Well, I probably couldn't take the first guy with the nunchucks. I could definitely take the second guy. The kind of.
I haven't seen this Game of Death. What on earth is this?
Well, it's a Bruce Lee film that he never finished, and it was basically he had pretty much all that he wrote, directed, and starred in it, and then he died. And the footage at the end is pretty much what he did. And there was like he had to go to some gangster, but there was like levels of like these guys that he had to fight, and one of them was like this like nunchuck guy who was hardy, and then there was some other guy that was just saying a rigid Korean like martial arts that he did, and then the third level, which is totally, you don't get to expect this. It was your man,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the basketball player.
The basketball player, because he was taught Jeet Kune Do off of Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee wanted to see what it was like with a guy at 4'5" fighting a guy at 7'6", and your man Abdul Kareem Jabbar, whatever his name is, didn't wanted to do it, but the LA Lakers says no, your legs are insured for $1 million. You're not doing that. So he went off sick for 3 weeks to film this fight scene. Honestly, it's the best bit of the film. You should just go and look at that fight, that bit of the film. It's the best bit of the film, to be honest with you, is Bruce Lee fighting like 3 different.
Yeah, the whole principle of it was he had this idea of different levels of martial arts and how he would beat them all with his style. Because, you know, Bruce Lee was a salesman at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it was a brilliant concept. It's very much like computer games have been based on it now. Like you go up the stages and everything gets harder. It's like the first ever beat 'em up film. But some of the choreography in it was quality. Definitely go give it a look. But as for me, I don't think I'd get past the first level because nunchucks always freak me out because I knocked myself out with them once. So I'd probably look at this guy and be like, "Fuck that, I'm off."
Yeah.
And if you
can use nunchucks well.
And if you ever watched Kill Bill, the Quentin Tarantino film, and she is wearing the yellow jumpsuit, that's where it comes from, is because he wears a yellow jumpsuit going through those images. He fights some biker guys weirdly in a warehouse that's full of cardboard boxes. Maybe that's what Games Workshop got their MDF idea from.
Maybe. Maybe. Went back and watched that. Yeah, as soon as Casey, if someone's got a weapon, it's generally quite hard to get past it. If someone can use nunchucks well, it can be generally probably better against other weapons than against people. But yeah, if someone's got a weapon, you're probably not getting past them with just your hands.
It was a joke thing that we always told, but my chief instructor was deadly serious about it. If someone pulls a knife on you and they're like, "Come on in," and just give them what they want. Don't fuck about. Just, yeah, okay, here's my wallet. Cheers, mate. Don't think, oh, I've done this and I can go block, punch, kick. Oh, no, just give them what they want. Let them fuck off.
If someone wants to stab you, they will stab you.
Exactly. Nowadays, kids are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But
anyone that's watching, don't do stupid shit and try and fight somebody with a knife unless you really have to. It's just not worth it.
No. That's why I always enjoy these Krav Maga guys. Like, I remember I did a session of it, and this guy, the instructor of this organization, it was like a cross learning thing. He's come over to us, and he's like, "Yeah, I've got this," and he pulled out an imitation firearm that had the proper rack on it, the clip on it. I'm like, "What have you bought that for?" And he's like, "Watch," and he disarms his mate, and he's like, "Bang, bang," pulls this thing apart in seconds. You're like, "Great, but I'm not doing that." I'm just like, "Okay, have my phone, mate. Off you fuck."
Yeah, it takes a lot less time to pull a trigger than it does to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to shoot you, you've probably been shot.
It's like that scene in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Gun Fever 2, where Max get a gun. No, Max get the samurai sword, and Charles get the gun, and he goes, "But I would just shoot you." He's like, "Yeah, but I'd be moving from side to side." He's like, "Yeah, but I'll still be shooting you."
Yeah. Indiana Jones through and through. You can do whatever you want with a weapon, but Indiana Jones still pulls out a gun and shoots him.
Yeah. The classic example.
My wife was in her job. She was doing like arrest and restraint, you would call it, like how to get out of like certain situations. And she said, "Oh, I know how to get out. Oh, so I know how to get out of a chokehold." And I was like, "Oh, perfect." She went, like, "Grab me from behind and I'll show you how to do it." And I was like, "Right, okay." So got her from behind and grabbed her. She went, "No, you're doing it too tight." I can try to say to the guy, "Here, mate, I know how to get this right, but you just loosen your grip by about 10%, and I'm going to show you some magic." And I was like, "Yeah, because that guy's not going to do that, Geraldine. Like, that's just mental."
Yeah. Could you mind just holding me a little bit looser so I can try and break out of this death grip you put me in, please, sir?
I know what you're trying to do. Just wait to get my car keys in my hand. And I can start doing my key. Was there any big martial art guys that you kind of idolised when you were younger then, doing your martial arts?
Not really. It was never something that I was sort of that into in terms of like watching or anything like that. It was just something to. It was a self-defense thing, so it was useful in terms of that. But yeah, then it was just to burn that energy. It was never something that I was like, "Oh, I really want to go and like compete martial art." Like boxing, I hate boxing. Even as a concept, I can see why it's really, really good for like young kids, and in some of the sort of worse off areas, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But why people are paid millions and millions of pounds to go and knock seven bells out of each other, I just find no enjoyment out of it whatsoever. For me, it's not a thing. I appreciate the skill and stuff like that, but yeah. So it was, nobody really. It was just a thing that I did, really.
Cool, Matt. You should definitely go and watch The Game of Death, just the end scene where it's all Bruce Lee. Because 95% of the film is body doubles and guys wearing glasses. And actually, there's actually a bit in the film that he's in where he does this thing, because there's this mafia dudes after him, and he fakes his own death by running. He's doing a stunt for a TV show, and he runs towards the guy, and they shoot him. But in the film, they change the bullet, so he actually gets shot. But he doesn't die. He fakes his own death, and it's exactly the same way that Brandon Lee dies in The Crow. That's how he dies in the film, like in the 70s, and then that's how actual Brandon Lee died, which was a bit weird.
Yeah,
watching that.
Yeah, there's like all sorts of weird conspiracies about that and stuff in there, but it's just one of those things. It's just a weird accident, and people probably should not look as deep as they do into it.
Yeah, but are you watching any good shows just now? That's a new question we like to ask people, because we always like to watch new stuff.
So I'm watching Only Murders in the Building. I'm going through that at the moment. Really, really love that. Have you seen it?
Sorry, what was that again?
Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, that's
the
one with Steve Martin into it, and that.
Yeah, so it's on Disney Plus. Yeah, so it's Selena Gomez in there, but the premise of it is the fact that it's taking on this whole boom of like crime solving podcasts, and so there's a in the first season there's a murder in the building, and they effectively start a podcast to solve it. I won't go into any more of it. They're in the third season of it. Can't remember how many seasons. It's like third or fourth. I love it. It's such a fun show. So it's got a lot of that sort of murder mystery type stuff. So they're in each season. They're trying to solve like a new murder, and so you're still trying to like work out who it is, but it's like really, really comedy based. It's really, really funny. They've got like incredible cast lists. Absolutely, like everybody that is everybody wants to get on it. So that Paul Rudd's on the latest one, and yeah, there is some like incredible cast on there. People obviously just want to join in because it's a lot of fun. So yeah, Amers in the Building. That's like my main sort of program that I'm watching at the moment with the other half. And then we are really big fans of stuff like Only Connect and Taskmaster. So we've not started the latest Taskmaster. That's on at the minute. We're just letting go in the background, watching Only Connect. We were about a month behind Only Connect, so we're catching up with that at the moment. Yeah, those are like the big three that we're watching at the minute.
Monday double bill of Only Connect and University Challenge is like quiz heaven. Like
Yeah.
you come out of University Challenge, you might have gotten like 2 or 3 answers, and you're like, okay, I've done well there. And then you stick Only Connect on, and you're just like, what the hell is that? What am I doing? And the answers come up, and you're like, oh shit, I could have gotten that. What am I thinking of?
I got one this week. It wasn't this week's one. It was, so like I say, we're about a month behind, but I got it on at the first clue. I was like, it was like Barney. So it was like Barney the dinosaur came up. Spoilers for anybody who's watching Only Connect, and Barney the dinosaur comes up. I was like, oh, it's to do with like getting into a fight with somebody or something like that. I was like, on the first one, my partner was just like, you'd never get that. I was like, well, for 5 points, I'd give it a go. Why not? But yeah, it was having a Barney, having a fight with each other.
Because it was Barney the dinosaur, and it was like everything was a different word for having a row.
So there's Coral from Dr. No, Barney. There was Beef was at the end, was the last one. I can't remember what the third one was, but yeah, it was like it's Barney, Coral, Beef.
I would say that's like when you watch the 1% and you actually get the 1% question, and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
When the 1% is on, I actually download the app and play along, and I feel like a genius. I'm like, yes, I'm one of the statistics getting it, and then I'll get one wrong, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I love a good show. The £1,000. There's no way I would get the 1% question, and probably the first time I'd get it, I would actually get the 1% question if I went in the show. But yeah, I would take the £1,000 right away. That would be.
Here's one. Just while we're talking about quiz shows, right? We all know the Chase. We're aware of the Chase. Yeah, you get your. There's a thing at the minute, and I've never seen it before, but they're offering people negative money.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's just and I've seen people
taking
it.
Normally the fourth person. Yeah, it's normally like the fourth person. If they've got like 3 through, they'll offer them a negative number. And I guess the idea is about this. It's better to take like if you've got like 50 grand, it's better to take like minus 2 grand and have 4 people, because you get that extra point start. So you've got an extra point of head start, and then you've just got another person answering questions. So it's that statistical thing of 4 minds are better than 3. For 2K, if you're still getting winning like 40, 50 grand between you, it's just worth it. I've seen quite a few people take, and like loads of people are just like, yeah, do it. Obviously take the lower one. We want you here. We just want more time, more people.
I don't think I could.
No, I don't think I could. Like people have taken it, and I remember one guy was raging. The guy took it was like minus 4,000. The guy's like, I'm going to take the minus, and the guy was like, no, you won't. I think they had like 25 grand. I was like, no, do not take the minus 4. And he took the minus 4, and the guy was livid. Absolutely livid.
At that lower value, I'd be like, no, I can't take the negative. I'm surprised they offer it at that lower level. Yeah.
But it's like one of my favourite TV shows of all time is, and I would wish they would bring it back. It was one of the most ruthless TV shows ever. Golden Balls. I would. I would steal all the time. I'd rather leave with fuck all and somebody else take the money rather than me split and then them stealing it. I love that show.
Traitors.
I haven't watched that yet, but have you ever watched a TV show called The Mole?
Yes, yeah.
That was, I loved that show, and what that was, Chase, was basically it had like 25, 30 people who were all in a reality TV show, and at the end of each episode there was like a cash prize, and that went towards the pot. But there was one person who was working for the production company, and the other 29 people had a questionnaire, and they had to figure out who the mole was by answering questions. Whoever got the least amount of questions right got through the next round. Oh, whoever got the most questions right through the next round. But what they would do is they would start giving people immunity if they started doing stuff. So it would then throw. I mean, and Netflix have done 2 seasons of it now, and Channel 5 was the best one because it was before mobile phones came out. Was when the first season came out, and then they did a second season. And rumours was that the guy that presented it was the banker in Deal or No Deal.
Oh,
And what they did was, in the second season, one of the girls went, I knew that in the first season the person was leaving the hotel room to speak to the producers about the following day. So what she did is she put talcum powder at the bottom of everybody's hotel room door so she would know. But they never knew that she did that, but they started using mobile phones that season. So our plan was totally scuppered. They would ask people, what did you do to try to figure out who the mole was? And that was one of the things that she did. But I loved that show.
Kind of like The Traitors, but to the extreme.
Yeah. But yeah, the only reason I wanted Traitors was that exact sort of thing of taking it and not taking it. So we went back and watched the Australian Traitors. And again, I won't spoil it, but it's well worth watching the second season of Traitors, of the Australian Traitors. It's so funny. The people are so annoying in it. Like, they've obviously got people who have got like a following on Instagram and stuff like that. So it's a lot more like celebrity based, but it honestly, the outcome of that program is so funny. It's just worth watching. They go through like this entire season, it gets to that point, and yeah, it's a cracking one. I love the Traitors. Definitely hopefully that comes back. It should come back. I'm watching that as well.
They'll be coming back, like, because the last series was the kid Harry did so well the whole way through it. Like, he was just
smashed that.
Absolutely devastated people, and in the moment he could see things turning, he was just straight on it, and you're like, go on, boy.
Yeah.
And then it was that last thing when the girl stormed off and you could just sort of see his face. He's like, I won anyway. Like, yeah, go on.
Apparently they're really good friends now. I mean, it is Molly May, I think it is. Apparently they're really, really good friends.
Yeah. I mean, that's, again, outstanding telly. There's so much trash, but a lot of good stuff at the same time. It's impossible. Like, staying on game shows, my little one started watching Michael McIntyre's The Wheel, which is the worst concept of a game show I've ever seen. And I can't stand Michael McIntyre. But at the same time, he's watching a quiz show. So part of me is like, I've got to encourage this because this is good for his brain. And he does really well on it. But then I'm sitting there like, what are you doing to me? Just stick 15 to 1 on or something.
I quite like The Wheel, so I couldn't comment there. That's all.
It's the one where Ross Kemp does the bridge. People are so fucking stupid, man. It's like,
yes, they are.
Like, come on, like, oh, I don't, like, are you fucking like, what of these is a fucking Britney Spears song, and it's like Thriller? Like, obviously, she didn't do Thriller. Don't stand in it, you complete moron.
That's the good thing about quiz shows, isn't it? It's like it's only easy when you know the answers. So it may only connect to the prime example where you sat there like, this is obviously the answer, and they don't know, and you're like, how do you get this obscure like mathematical equation one that's absolute garbage, but this one thing is just like you just don't get. It's like when modern music comes on, they're all like, I don't know what this is, and you're like, do you listen to the radio, or you just got classic songs on repeat, just trying to get onto any connect.
People are stupid. I hate people.
That's like when you see all these like 20-year-olds on University Challenge, and here's your bonus round on Brahms, and they're smashing it out, and you're like, hey, you're 20. Why are you listening to Brahms?
Yeah.
The fuck. But
or you get like the 13-year-olds on Countdown who pick 6 small letters and still get the answer, and you're like, I fucking hate you. And I'm using my calculator on my phone, like, still getting lost.
My one of my mates, he's no longer with us, but you'd sit there watching Countdown with him, and he'd look at you and the conundrum come on. He's like, if I get this, we're going out, we're going to pub. And you're like, no, Dave, we can't do this again. It's the 5th time in a row. And he'd get it, and you're like, oh, yeah. And, and you just end up getting smashed because he got the Countdown conundrum right. But it was, it's fun.
Yeah.
There you go. Game shows. You bet you didn't think you'd come on talking to us about that tonight. There you go.
Game shows. Yes, we should always evolve into game show talk. That's the best way.
get your guests talking about that. That's your random. We'll gift that to you. That'll be your random podcast question.
Yeah.
What's your favourite game show?
Favourite
And I
game
will
show.
tune in every time to make sure you're asking for it. And if you're not asking it, I will be furious.
Well, spoilers?
What is your worst game show?
Oh,
Well, apart from the wheel,
there was one on BBC Two, and it was run by a Scottish guy, and it was to do with dictionary, and like 3 letters came out, and you had to make like an incredibly stupid long word that actually did exist to get more points. And there was like, if these 3 combination of letters came out, it came out with this like flocky, knocky, filification. And it was like one of these mental like 53,000 letter long words. I hated that show. And that guy ended up on, what do you call it? He got a gotcha off a Noel Edmund in his house party. He got a gotcha.
I have no idea what that game show is, so I'm never going to look that up if it's that bad.
Yeah, now if I see that, I'll be like, I know exactly what that is. I'm not going to watch it. I don't know. Maybe like Deal or No Deal, which is probably quite controversial. I didn't feel like there's any real skill to Deal or No Deal.
There isn't. The thrill of Deal or No Deal is, what have they picked? How far will they risk it? And as a concept, I mean, that is fun, but you're gambling. That's what it is. You're just watching someone gamble.
Yeah.
So that's not that great at the end of the day. I will agree with you on that. It was fun when it first come out. And you're like, will they get a penny? You're silently hoping in the back of your mind, get one p, you bastard. But I would, you know what? It was good for its questions. The concept of it annoyed the fuck out of me. Tipping point.
Yeah,
okay.
You've just got the giant 2p machine from the pier. How is this a game show? What the hell?
I'm sure that's right. I'm sure there's a wee guy underneath. You remember watching Crystal Maze where you had to go about with the maze and you had the crystal? I'm sure there's a guy the same guy who was at Crystal Maze. Obviously he's out of job, but what he does is he brings the thing down now and runs under the thing. It's like, is it going to ride? It's like, what? Like, how is that going to ride? And sometimes they just fire them down. It's like, how is that physically possible that one comes down dead slow and the other one is getting shot out like a ping pong ball out of a fucking Vietnamese because fanny? You know what I mean?
At the same time, though, and as soon as I said tipping point, I really liked the Danny Dyer one, The Wall, which is essentially the same thing. But
it is the same thing, but much bigger.
Yeah, but it's also just that little bit of risk of reward to it, because it's not just you drop the good ones down, you drop the bad ones down as well. So it's like, I enjoyed that. It's just, and also it's Danny Dyer, you know, go on, Wall, drop it, you mug, and give it all of that, you know. Go on.
Honestly, Danny Dyer peeped when he was going to an Old Firm game and said he was absolutely shitting himself. He was like in a taxi, like, mate, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about?
I love Danny Dyer. Shut up, man. He's the patron saint of London.
Is that accent put on? It's like Darren Day. Because like at one point, Darren Day sounded dead posh, and then he went in Hollyoaks and sounded like Ross Kemp, a bad Ross Kemp impersonator. I mean, if you watch a lot of Danny Dyer films, is his accent put on?
No, I haven't seen his daughter, that also called Danny Dyer. She was on Love Island, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She's got like the same accent. I think it is a completely real thing.
It's Essex. It's London. It's East London, Essex. It's what they all talk like. You cross that, you go into that sort of side of the river, and it's like, oh, me old mucker, you know, fucking on you lot proper. No. Never go to a West Ham game because everyone speaks like that, and it's horrendous.
I did work with a guy in America in Letterkenny, a guy called Mike Carroll. He was a big Millwall fan, and I all remember the day, and he spoke like that, like, oh, mate. And this lassie phoned up and she went, I want to speak to someone who speaks English. And he's like, I do speak English. I'm from London. And she went, proper English. And he's like, I do speak proper English. I'm from London.
You know what?
She get transferred.
You say that. I had it once in a call centre of an insurance company where I had someone from our Glasgow call centre call me in South London, be like, can you do me a favour? This person's kicking off with me. And I'm like, why? He's like, they're accusing me of not speaking English. I was like, and this is Glaswegian accent. And I was like, all right, I'll speak to him. I spoke to him, and they had a heavier accent than the person who was Glaswegian. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? I was just sort of taken back. I was like, but first of all, were you rude to my colleague? And like, I couldn't understand him. It's like, well, I can just about understand you, mate. What?
I once get asked in the call centre if I was Indian or Japanese.
With that accent, you're Japanese.
Yeah. And I was like, why? And I laughed down the phone, and I was like, why Japanese? She went, I didn't want to say Indian and offend you. And I was like, but Japanese? Like, Kenichi fucking wa? Like, I never said that, but like, are you kidding me on, man? Like, what can you do?
Oh shit. Right, well, we've got 5 minutes left, I'd say. Started late, we've gone for an hour and a half, we're doing good. But I know, obviously, Ben, you've sort of given us a little hint as to the next season of your podcast. Without going too much and sort of trying to get more information out of you and spoiling everything, what is your aims for your next season of your podcast? What are you liking to get done? And, you know, when do you think you're going to be sort of calling it a day on season 2?
I mean, in terms of calling it a day, never. I didn't really want to. I only called it season 1 because I had to end it. In reality, had I had the time, the sort of ability, I would have just kept going. So yeah, it will end when it stops becoming fun. That's the key thing. So long as my time's available and it stays fun, I'm just going to keep doing it. That's the key for me.
Okay.
And yeah, the aim is to just have some fun with it, get on some people, chat with some Warhammer. Like I say, it's going to be a little bit different, the series. So it's a little bit stripped down. It's going to be a little bit quicker. Similar to you guys, proper spoiler, there'll be returning guests.
Cool.
So similar to you is that sort of idea of bringing somebody back so that I can always continue the conversation. It's always really nice to sort of have that first conversation because those episodes were long. I mean, the one with Matthias Paints was getting on for 3 hours, something like that as an episode. Mad long. I think my shortest episode was an hour 20 or something like that. Most of them sort of were around the 2 hour mark. So yeah, it'd be sort of stripped back a little bit. Yeah, get some returning guests and chat about what I've been up to and yeah, just have fun with it. Like that's my main aim. Chat some Warhammer. Just it's like catching up with friends. That's the key thing for me.
If you really do, if you want to have a guest on that does really short episodes, get Quipster Nerd on. He only lasted about 35 minutes with us because he double booked himself.
Yeah, I mean, he was my very, very first episode of the podcast. The episode number 1 was Quipster. Alex is an absolutely wonderful guy, but his timekeeping can be difficult at times.
Oh, we found that out.
His life is insane.
We found that out after half an hour. He's like, "Oh, I need to go." But what? Like, you've only just come on. We've not even asked you if you think. We've not even asked you if you think Full Drum's a nonce yet.
Yeah, you know, you paint Emperor's Children. You've got to have an opinion on this, and it's like, oh, I'm going now. It's like, oh.
I'll quit. I mean, if you did get Quifter's opinion on Emperor's Children, he does pre-heresy Emperor's Children, and he does them he has the loyalist Emperor's Children. So, and he also hates the book Fulgrim. Loves Fulgrim. Hates. Yeah. So I found all this about Quifter. Yeah, my first episode with him was. I'm gonna have to look now. While my computer's open.
Maybe we'll go back to him, Duncan, see if he'll come back on.
Yeah, well,
get him back. Honestly,
yeah.
If you get his time, he's a really genuinely nice guy.
I mean, I joke about Quipster, but like when I first started painting, like he did give me time a day, like give me hints and stuff. But like it's easy to like kind of slag him off a wee bit because it was quite funny, but also slightly annoying at the same time. Yeah. But like, we've all grown up. We've all grown up a bit since then, I believe. Well, some of us have. I haven't.
I definitely have.
Well, I think maybe the person that grew up the most has actually left us, and it's just the 2 children left running the ship.
Right.
But yeah, we'll maybe try and get him back on, actually.
I'd recommend it. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Like, Quitch's views on the hobby are really, like, genuinely really good. I had him on for an hour 22. 1 hour, 22 minutes and 4 seconds to be exact. And he still remains as my 5th most listened to episode. Let's have a look. I've forgotten how to use any analytics on podcasts whatsoever. It's been such a long time.
This is
So
why.
he's still my fourth.
This is why you
fourth
need
most
to get
listened
back
to
on.
episode.
This is why you need to get back onto it, because you're just getting all rusty and everything.
Yeah. My fourth most listened to episode, Quipster. He's got a really, really strong following. But yeah, his like views on the hobby and like the way that he does things. He's a really, really cool guy. So definitely worth getting him back on. I definitely recommend it.
Cool.
Lastly, just obviously, if you want to replug yourself just to end the show off, and if there's any other sort of accounts, people you want to give shout outs to, now's your chance.
Oh, there'll be so many. So yeah, Tom Penn, First Rank Fire. I actually have some. I put the jumper on specifically. I had to dig this out. So it's since I was last on, my mantle has changed on Instagram. So it used to be First Rank Fire podcast. Now it's first_rank_fire. So feel free to find me on there. Go ahead, give me a follow. I love chatting about Warhammer. So message me and I'll message back probably near enough instantly, because I'll probably be holding a sleeping baby and looking for people to talk to. We've also got the Discord, so the First Rank Fire Discord. It's got a really nice little community. I post loads of my stuff like quite early. There's some amazing painters on the Discord. So like one with Hackers 40k, Dave's Hobby Corner, and Tiz, who was listening on earlier, was commenting. She's in there. You guys are in there. It's a really, really nice little community. So yeah, definitely go for that. So in terms of the podcast, mostly it'll be sort of focused on YouTube side of it. So we'll be doing some video editing. None of my videos have been on there before, so I'm going to be going back editing some of the old ones over time. But yeah, all the new ones will be going on there. So if you go and check out First Rank Fire on YouTube, and yeah, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to a podcast. Like I say, all 30 odd episodes are still on there, and somehow still getting listens. I've not released one in like 8 months, but people are still listening to them for some bizarre reason. But yeah, go ahead and check it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks.
Good stuff. No worries. Thank you very much again for coming back on. It's a pleasure chatting to you, and we look forward to your first episode dropping on Friday. Just to reconfirm.
So there'll be a teaser on Friday. Teaser on Friday for sort of what's going to happen, and also the date that the first episode is going to be coming out.
Look forward to that.
On Friday.
Definitely look forward to that. Right. Well, as I'm hosting, I'll ask you, Dunk, any last words from yourself?
If you think the random girl that you've met's your sister, ask her if she's got any daddy issues and who her dad is. Don't be in a Luke Skywalker situation on Hoth.
You've thought about that way too much. Yeah, that disturbs me. Cool. Right, and on that bombshell, I think we'll call it a night. I'm stealing Jeremy Clarkson line, and I don't care. Thank you, Ben, again for coming on. Absolute pleasure. We look forward to the update on Friday. Dunk, thank you for joining me, mate. Thank you for letting me host this week off the main channel. Always a pleasure to screw people's minds up when they log on and see me rather than you, and I'm on time and they don't have a clue what's going on. It always puts them on the back foot, which is what we love doing. Next week, just to reconfirm, it was Orange Brushes, Dunk.
No, I don't know how it is next week. I can't remember.
We'll put a story up or something. You know what we're like. We don't have a clue what we're doing. But thank you, everyone, who joined in. Thank you, everyone who joined in the chat. This will go online on the YouTube and the Spotify and all of that. At some point, we'll sort it out and we'll let you know. But once again, thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you for your time, and we'll catch you next week at the normal time. Ben, cheers again, Ben. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.